Hello, everybody. This is Johnny S. again, the Black Desert Review, Part 2. So, in the last video, we had more of an introduction of the game, what it is, my opinions, whether I recommend it or not, which I do. It's one of the best games that I've played, the best, my one of my favorite best MMOs that I've ever played. On this video, we're going to go into actually the character creation screen and we'll see how far we go. Another thing that I noticed is I think since the beginning that I've made my YouTube channel, I think I'm becoming a little bit more direct with my topics. So when I was making Path of Exile, I was taking a lot of my time. I was perhaps speaking slower. I think I'm getting better on this because, I actually covered quite a bit of ground in the introductory video within 20, 29 minutes. I don't know how much it was than I expected. I thought it would have been much more introductory, and then when I got into the game, I would have talked more into deep, in greater detail as we're going through these mechanics. But I actually mentioned quite a few, so we don't know how many parts this is going to become. So, okay, let's proceed, and we'll go by starting the game. So that was the loading screen that you saw. Sorry. The second screen that you're going to be able to select is going to be your server. So these are different servers, and what I mean by servers is different channels, let's call them. So the account that you make when you first begin Black Desert, you have a specific selection between Europe, Europe East, Europe West. You have North America, America. You have, I think, Asia. There's a couple of how can I say, actual servers. We are in the Europe Northeast, I think, the server. Even though it says select server, this is not what it means. If you make a character in one of the servers of the North, let's call them regions. I think the game it will suit Black Desert more. So you have regions and you have servers. Another way to say it is servers and channels, but whatever. Regions and servers. If you make a character in one specific region, you cannot play with that character in another region. If you have a friend, for example, and he accidentally made a character on one region, then he's a player within that region. You cannot play together. So you got to make sure, when you play with friends, that you actually communicate beforehand. You let your friends know which region you're playing in order to be together. Once you're inside this region, you're going to be able to select your different servers. All channels. I might reference them as channels because I'm used to the concept. All these are different channels. They have specific names which are from areas within the game. So Kamasubia is an area, is a place in Black Desert Online. You have the Balenos, Calpheon, Media, Valencia, Serendia. So all these are different channels, and you have an indication of some of those ones where they are created. There are PvP channels, so these are, they're dedicated only to PvP sort of components. And at the top, you're going to see some new type of servers. So these are the new obvious servers, which have an experience logo onto them, so you get additional experience. These are for returning characters. So someone like me that has not played the game for a long time, old gamer, but has a long time, sometimes these servers unlock for you and you're able to play and get additional experience. And Black Desert also has what it's called a season, which we've seen in previous games. This is something which is like a modernized way of gaming. There's seasons which you can go through, but in Black Desert the seasons are a little bit more different and a little bit, let's say, stranger. What do I mean by that? The season is the seasonal servers which have specific activities to them. There are specific channels. So you have, let's say, 4 proper season channels. The top 2 is for new beginners of the game. These ones are for returning seasonal or in general season, and this one is for PvP season. So you will not see these servers disappear, let's say, because a new season comes out. They're always there. What changes is the content of these seasons. So let's say for 3 months you're going to have a season and it's going to be called hey guys, let's all fish. There might be hidden rewards for people that fish that might have increased the currency for the fishing, and everybody goes crazy, and you will see a lot of people in the towns and they all go crazy with the fishing products, what I mean? So there is a theme to it, but that changes online as you are without you noticing it. And the other different thing is, in order for you to make a seasonal character, you need specific tokens. So because I have an account, it doesn't mean that I can go and make a season just like that. And those tokens are given to you every few months. So it's a strange way of doing it, but it does make sense. So let's say 3 months pass and a new season begins. You're going to get one token. Okay, that theme of the season is going to be let's all go fishing. Okay, you know about it, there's an announcement, and you have one character to make, and you can only make one character. Let's say, but for one season you did not play, and another season came, and another season came, then you might have 3 tokens, 4 tokens. You can actually make 5 characters on one specific season, or you can save up your tokens for later. So you have to manage a little bit, how you utilize your seasonal tokens in order to make a character. What differentiates in the seasonal is the rewards, the XP. Usually there's a lot more XP. That's why you can see the gold icons that say XP, 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 XP. So you level up a lot faster. Newcomers go to the seasonal. It's a lot more bigger player base on the season. People are usually preferring the seasonal, way. There's a lot of assists in order for you to enhance your gear and craft your gear and level up your character. And there's a journey of rewards that once you complete this series of rewards, usually it ends towards level 60. So you will have challenges, let's say, and one of the challenges will be go to level 60. Once you complete all this and you acquire the results, you will get a token which will actually allow you to convert your character into a non-seasonal character, a permanent. Meaning that the gear that you have on you, which you made in an easier way because the seasons actually boost you with a lot of resources, you're going to be able to transfer on your permanent. So let's say you have 3 characters on your permanent server, but you've never played with a mage, and you have two tokens. It's not wise to go and make on a permanent server a wizard. You might as well take advantage of the season. You have 2 tokens, waste one of your tokens, make a mage for the first time, level him up much quicker, get a lot more resources, enhance your gear to like top level gear, and once you finish all your challenges, convert him to the season. And then you're going to have permanently, from your 3 characters, you're going to have 4 characters, including a mage. So that's the concept. For now, we're going to go to the new Ovia, let's say, number 1. If it lets me, okay, it does let me, which means that I have not been playing for a long time. These are all the different characters that I have created. You can see it on the right hand side, and you can unlock more spaces, let's say, by actually either paying in-game currency, or this is something that you can actually pay real money to unlock. There's specific indications, just so you can actually see what your character is. So the icons here, they indicate what type of class your character is. The location is on what place are they situated. So when you log in with a character, you log off and then you log in with another character, his location is saved on the map. If let's say you're in the desert with one guy, you log in, you log out, and you play with another character, the first one will always be the desert. So Velia is the name of the city. It's a small city, and as you can see, most of these characters, I have them in Velia. And we'll get into detail why that is. You have an indication of your level, and as I previously stated, 62 is the biggest level that I have, so I was correct. Your character name, and you have some other indications here. For example, there's a little icon here with a horse. That means that this character here, that character there, also has a horse with him. Another thing to notice is that this character is a seasonal character. If you pay attention, there's an outline, a goldish outline. That means that this character is a seasonal character, and he's a character that I had made, and I was in the process of actually leveling him up. He's level 57, and when he goes to 60, I will be able to transfer him across to the permanent server. That's why he's in the mid-process, let's say. So that's what I was doing last time. Another trick is to mention about the game is that the gear that you wear is, some of them are shared, some of them are not shared, which is kind of strange to grasp your mind around. So what do I mean by that? Accessories and armor, helmet, body armor, and everything are bound to account. That means any one of your characters can wear this armor. Because it costs a lot of in-game currency to level up to the maximum level your armor, usually you don't make an armor piece for each one of your characters. You have one armor piece and you share it between. That does not hold true though for weapons. Some characters can share weapons, but most classes have their own weapon. And it makes sense because you cannot have a guy like you see on the screen here with two axes and a ninja with a sword. It's different weapons. Okay, so in those cases, you will need to have separate items. And why do I mention this? I mention this because since the seasonal gameplay was introduced in Black Desert, I decided that I would try to equip at least weapons on every single one of these characters. Good kind of endgame weapons, which is something that I had not done previously. So the way that I was doing it previously was I used to make a character, level him up to 60, get his weapons and his armor and everything, and let's say I was bored. I will take his weapons, because I cannot use his weapons again, sell them on the market. You do lose some money when you sell something and you buy something. I think there's a tax in the market. I'm not sure what the percentage is, but if you sell a lot and you buy a lot, it means you gradually lose. You try to avoid to do that. But because I did not have enough in-game currency, and I wanted to make a new character with, let's say, a sword, I had to buy the sword, let's say. You know what I mean? So what did I do is, after I finished with a character, I sold his weapons at least on the market. Other players bought them. I got the money. Then I created the new character. I got all the accessories and the body armor transferred to him, and I bought a new small level sword, and I started leveling that guy up. So because I followed that process, I had armor sets and accessories for every single one that I'm actually transferring across. But weapon-wise, I had many classes that were empty-handed. And one of the ideas that came to my mind is, why don't I actually utilize the seasonal servers in order to make much easier and with less currency and in-game money the weapons at least, and then once I transfer that character to the permanent server, equipped those weapons to my older character. So just to give you an idea, this symbol here, which is the assassin, it's a class called assassin. If you pay attention, I have another same symbol here. So this guy here, let me click on him so you can see. This guy, and I have actually bought a costume onto him as well. He is kind of like a desert king with a lot of, we'll go through the classes. He's kind of like a desert king with a lot of like sand powers and stuff. But I did not have weapons with him. So what did I do? I made another assassin, this guy here, on the season. I'm going to level him up. I'm going to not focus on his armor, but mostly focus on enhancing his weapons, transfer him across to the permanent server, take these weapons and put them on this guy, and delete this guy. So in that way, I'm going to slowly get weapons for everybody, so I don't have to go and sell and go back and forth. So this was this was an opportunity to utilize the seasonal mechanic in order to slowly equip something that I will not be able to do, you know what I mean, because of the money that it requires for you to either get level 1 weapon and enhance it all the way to, let's say, plus 15 or pre-3 10. We'll talk about these things, or buy it ready enhanced. It was too much in-game currency. And even though I've been playing for so many years, I have not accumulated. So this is the different classes that I have. I'm going to click and just show you a little bit the character creation. The point is not to take you by the hand on step by step. If you like the game, you're going to go into it, you're going to play it, you're going to experience for yourself. Just to give you an overview, a review of the game, and kind of a walkthrough as well. So I call my games reviews because just to keep it simple, you know what I mean? Game review. Okay, I review a game, but the fact that I'm actually showing you gameplay, you can also call it gameplay. You can also call it walkthrough. You can call it, I'm not going to change the titles and say, review slash gameplay slash walkthrough slash character. It's just going to be review. So let's click on actually making a new character. And one more thing to mention is you see down here where it says season character tickets, and I have one. So you can hold up to 5 maximum, and I have one. So it means I can make a new season character, even though I already have one and I have not transferred him across. So it's been some time since I played this guy, possibly a new season. That's why I said 3-4 months. Every 4 months, a new season comes out. So it's been some while, and I've gotten a new ticket. So maybe like an extra season passed since I last played this game. Let's click on the new character creation just so you can see. Another nice thing to mention about Black Desert and the way the characters behave. Basically, you have the usual classic MMO elements, which is your armor, your helmet, your gloves, your boots, your cosmetics, your accessories, your belts, all these things. Okay, but you have 2 different set of weapons. And this is an interesting and very in-depth mechanic about the game that I like that other MMOs have not done. So once you begin with your character, you have 2 weapons, a sub-weapon and a main weapon. Okay, let me give an example. You have with the Berserker, you have 1 axe, 2 axe. These are his weapons. Okay, and you have the knots on the end of the axe, which are referenced to as sub-weapons. All the characters have this. Those weapons have specific skills, they have specific moves that you level up, and you can utilize it, and you build your arsenal as you're going through the game, and you learn his skills in order to play. Once you reach level 56, every single character has a quest line which gets automatically triggered, and it's called the Awakened quest line. The Awakened quest line, as the name suggests, takes you through your awakening. And what do we mean by awakening? We mean that you go through and you equip a 3rd type of weapon, which is your awakened weapon. The damage that you have gets calculated between these 2 weapons. And your awakening weapon can totally change your class. You can be a sword wielding main weapon guy and then go to something totally different on his awakened form, which makes the game very interesting because you have 2 things that you can play around with. If you have equipped your main hand weapons, the damage is going to count of your main weapons and half of the damage of your awakened weapon. So it's not like you don't have to enhance and level up your other weapon, and it's not that it doesn't make a difference. It does, but the main difference is done with the actual weapons that you have enabled. And there is a mechanic in the game that you can actually, let's say, specialize on your awakening weapon, and that is called the Awakened class. Or you can go into continue using your main weapons, even though you have unlocked your awakening, because let's say that you don't like the looks of your awakened weapon. Let's say you're used to the 2 swords, and then when you get like a bazooka or something, you don't like the bazooka, so you don't want to play with the bazooka. You're going to get the bazooka, you're going to equip it, you're going to level it up, it's going to add more damage to your main hand weapons, but let's say you want to continue leveling up the skills of your main weapons. This is called the succession class. So you will hear a lot of things when you're looking at guides for Black Desert. You will see something like, let's say this class is called a scholar. So you might see a guide that will say scholar succession. What does that mean? It means how it's a guide about a scholar which has leveled to level 56, has unlocked the awakenings, but has not spec'd into the awakening format of the weapon, but has actually kept the original main hand initial weapons she has, and they have spec'd into the succession class. Of the scholar. So the scholar is one of the classes that we can see here. She has 2 hammers, which is kind of nice. I'm going to go through all the classes, and I think we'll end the video there, and then we'll make another part. So there's a lot of things, you know, to go through. I'm not going to. I'll try to give as much possible information, but keeping it kind of quick. Second class is the Wusa. So she's kind of like a martial artist, kind of a magic, let's say, martial artist. Her weapon is a fan. As you can see, she does this type of things. And at the bottom side here, if you have a look on each one of these classes, you can click main, which will show you a small video of what her main weapon is. This is what we were talking about before. So she's using, as you can see, magic and little, things like that. And then you can go to the awakening. And the awakening form, as you can see here, again, she's using different magic, but in different moves and different things. There's different animations, different skills. Warrior, the warrior has a shield. In his, you start with a shield and a short sword, or the broadsword, whatever you want to call it, and his awakening format is a two double-handed greatsword. So he also changes there. The assassin is the desert guy that we mentioned before. He begins with a knife and a short sword, and then on his awakened format, he equips himself with a two, like a staff sort of wielding. A sage is kind of a mage. It's cross between a mage and like a warrior. Strange, very interesting class. Main weapons he begins is with a cube. So it's like a tesseract, whoever watches Avengers, that you can use to do things. And his awakened format, he gets like a lightning spear and he fights as such. We have the ranger. She begins with a bow and she ends up with daggers. So that's another strange thing. You begin with a ranger, you start with a bow, but then when you go to level 56, you start playing with daggers. Some people like that. Some people say, no, I'm going to keep the bow because I want to make a ranged character. It makes sense, you can go whichever way you want. And there's no, let's say, disadvantages if you continue and you say, no, I'm going to keep on playing with the bow. It's not going to do less damage. They've made it and they've balanced the game in such a way that it actually works. The guardian is a female character. So as you can see, it is gender locked. You get a little bit of indication here of some of the strong components. So when it comes to CC, evasion, combo, what are they good for? You have Dracania, another one of these classes. So she's like a dragon warrior queen. You have sorceress. She's more of a magical player. Nova, I'm going to go through them more quickly. Nova, she's kind of like a melee class with a shield. Corsair, she's like a pirate. Lan, she's like a kung fu artist sort of weed. She's got a sword. She's very mobile. She can like kind of walk on air. She has nice things like that. Berserker is your brute force, double axe sort of a guy. This guy is kind of strange because he begins with two axes, and then his awakened form he gets a hand cannon. That's why I said Berserker before. Personally, I don't like the hand cannon. I want him to be two axes. So this is a very good example, and he's my favorite class. The 62 level guy that I've made, that I've actually kept the two axes. So, as you can see on the video down there, he's got a hand cannon, he's shooting and things. It is nice, I'm not, putting it down by any means. It's just that it's not the concept that I like. My immersion was I wanted to make a berserker because of axes, so I'm not going to play with the cannon. Other people prefer the cannon. Maigu is a different class, and I might not be preferring, pronouncing this perfect. Tamer. This is an interesting class because she has a pet which comes next to you and fights along your side. And an interesting thing with your pet, or the tamer's pet, is that you can actually mount it. You can actually use your pet as a mount, which is kind of unique and strange for her class. Sai is this little girl here, and she also has a strange sort of class, which means that she's much more support. She has that boomerang that she throws around, so she's like half range, half melee, let's say, sort of a class. She's got mid area of damage, and then her awakening is that she has a music instruments that she plays, and she buffs players around her. So that's another strange sort of a class. Striker, he's basically like a full-on hands, fists. He fights with brute force. And this guy is more similar, his awakening, for example. So he has two fists, as you can see here. So he's fighting with his fists, and his awakening format, he gets bigger fists. So that's one of the characters which literally does not change. You know what I mean? The deciding factor will be because there's different skills. Which skills do I like most? I like his main, his two fist skills, or I like the bigger fists because the skills change. You know what I mean? Personally, on this class, I like his bigger fists. And just to give you a differentiation of why I like this, the initial fists that you have, they're called vamp braces, and the next awakening fists are called the guard bases. So the guard bases, something like that. The initial weapons that you have, he's very quick combo. So he juggles opponents in the air, he punches them, he jumps in the air, he hits them in the air, he slams them down. There's a lot of heavy combo and timing to do. His awakened form, he has fists, but he uses more charge fist, hit, do a lot of damage, burst damage, more simple. There's not a lot of combo. And I actually like this because it was going crazy for me. Other people will like the fluent motion of like doing a lot of combos and everything. So yeah, you can do how you like. Musa is another class, and he starts with a sword and a bow, and he ends up with a huge Sith that you can see here. Meiwa. Now this class is similar to the Musa. That's why I said that some classes go together. The female version of the Musa is the Meiwa. Let me see if I can find another one. No, I cannot find another one. The Mystic. This woman here is the equivalent of the Striker. So the Striker is like a Kung Fu master with fists. The Mystic is a female version, and she's a Kung Fu master with her legs. So just like the Striker uses a lot of his fists, she will use kicks and jungle opponents with kicks. So there are dual sort of things. Valkyrie is a class that doesn't have a male counterpart. She starts with a shield and a sword. She seems to be a lot like the warrior, but then she changes into a big sort of javelin thing that she uses. Kunoichi is the equivalent of the ninja. So, and the ninja is this one here. So the ninja, the kunoichi, they start with the same weapon. The kunoichi's awakening is this circle here that she uses to do a lot of spins. The ninja evolves into a multiple katana wielding ninja. He's kind of strange. Dark Knight is another class, which is a very nice class. And all these classes, I don't have any preferences in order for you to like pick that or pick this. All of the classes are awesome. Depends what you like. You gotta test them out. I cannot give you, how to play this. Wizard, he's a pure wizard, kind of a mage sort of skills that he's doing. Fire, water, he does all these things. He does have the female equivalent, which is a witch. They're very similar, these two. And the archer, which is here that I left out, he's kind of the equivalent, let's say, of the ranger. So we saw at the beginning the ranger. He's, the archer. He's a little bit different because he has like a bigger, greater bow. It's called that the archer doesn't have. But it's, it's an interesting sort of, interesting class. He's much more ranged. For example, if you wanted to make a ranger, but you did not like the daggers and you wanted to keep your bow, your initial weapons, I will say don't go for a ranger, go for an archer. Because the archer is more of a pure ranged class. He starts with a crossbow, and his awakened form is the great bow. So he becomes even more rangers. You know what I mean? So you gotta read up on these characters and figure out what you're going to do when you get to play. So that's as much as the character screen goes. And just to show you, if we have enough time, let's say we make one of her. You can actually customize every single element of these characters when you create your characters. You can give them names. There's presets that you can load. You can change your signs. You can change, her face, her hair. So there's a lot of customizations that you can do to them. The shape, the color, red. You can do many of these things. You can change the body. You can make her short, tall, muscular, fat, tattoos put on them. You can do everything that you want. It's quite realistic. To give you an understanding of how realistic, I saw a guy in Black Desert that he had made a female character of Megan Fox, and when you looked at her, she actually looked like Megan Fox. So So there's a lot of detail. You can actually go in and you can take the nose and you can skew it up, skew it down. I don't go in so much detail when I make my characters. I make them more, basic, let's say. I think that's pretty much it for the character component, and then the rest of the things I think we're going to go with actually within the game and actually showcase. So I'm going to jump in with one of these characters. I'm going to show you the game. So this is, I think, enough for part 3.